I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it, I didn't believe in it. I never gave it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.
Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the pre-Snowmageddon edition of the Caffeinated Cryptid podcast. We're kind of breaking the norm of the Sunday night deal, and we got no one better than Joseph Tury from Illinois, documentarian. We're going to be reviewing his documentary. I keep documentary. I feel like I'm British. Put an E on the end of it. And it's called Grand Tower. What's? Oh my gosh, where'd it go? I had it ready to go on purpose. Grand Tower, UFO, and other high strangeness. And boy, does it touch on everything. Does it have a ghost portion?
A little bit about Native American spirits and possibly some other stuff. Yeah.
So one girl's named Zelia Edgar. She was a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
She was so matter of fact. I got John Lamb. What's up, John? When you're done watching this, John, go over to Tubi and watch this documentary. See it? Write it down. See what I think about it is what I love about independent documentaries, because it doesn't have to appeal to like a Hollywood producer and have the little pops in a certain places every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
like watching Unexplained or something. and it really keeps you like muscle memory, how you do different exercises to stay in shape.
Yeah.
The muscle memory, like you're watching a documentary, getting a rhythm, just kind of, and usually they go down. You know, you got the first thing, the second thing, and then you go in real time. This has like 3 different sections. It goes up and has like sections. It's like almost like playing a video game, different levels.
Yeah, and then hopefully, like when you were watching it, you kind of understood. It kind of brings it back to the beginning at to kind of bookend it up. You know. Yeah.
The end of it was we brought it right back to what's his name?
Frank.
And Michael Huntington.
Yep.
He kind of wrapped it up.
Yep.
When I was watching it, I was like, well, what is Michael Huntington's purpose? Because you forget he's there and he pops in, and I realized that he's just kind of like the narrator. He's like Jimmy Cricket. Shows us
Michael. So Michael really is the brains behind as like the knowledge behind the area, and I'm not really a UFO guy per se. I'm much more of a Bigfoot guy, cryptid, but Bigfoot more than anything. And you know, Michael he studies everything, but he's more of a ufologist to me than anything. So he kind of knew the history of the area and guided me along the way as I was filming.
Yeah, he's from Missouri, so he's right there.
Yeah.
Everybody from Missouri acts like they're from Illinois. Oh, we got Chris on here. Chris is from Illinois. He's up there right now. He may be maybe he's been down to Murfreesboro and the Grand Tower.
Hey, Chris.
Chris likes pizza that's shaped like casseroles. It's kind of a weird flex, but whatever. And why was it that they said, and I may have missed it, they said that the Grand Tower was like the unluckiest town in the USA.
Yeah, so that was in Time magazine.
They were out there, but like, what's the
early 2000s? Yeah, so it's because of there was a lot of things that have happened to it over the years. Like it's a river town. It's been flooded multiple times. There have been native massacres there, battles, pirates. When they talk about pirates, it wasn't like pirates on ships, even though it's on the Mississippi. It's like pirates along the Mississippi that used to attack ships. So just a lot of bad things have happened over the decades.
Bushwhackers.
Bushwhackers, yeah. Just a lot of crazy stuff. So Time Magazine named it the unluckiest town in America at one point. Yeah.
There used to be a country band called Pirates of the Mississippi. I wonder what ever happened to them. Like a one-hit wonder. Yeah,
what was their song?
I don't know. I've got to look it up. I'm thinking about it. But yeah, the rock interludes in between the different segments, it kind of brings you back out of it, snaps you.
Yeah, so I was watching another documentary. This is a 3-year documentary that took me 3 years to make for various reasons. But I was watching this other pretty famous series, and it has like interludes of music in it. And my girlfriend happened to be walking by, and she's like, "Why don't you do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Why don't I do that?" Because a lot of documentaries don't do that, And I thought, "Oh, that's different." So I kind of like put it in there. I thought it was a good touch on. I mean, I put stuff in there that I like to do. So,
there's no real way to make a documentary, because if it works, it works. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if there's a form to it or not.
That's true. Like I learned a lot of filmmaking tips from YouTube, which I'm sure a lot of us do. And I always see these guys, I mean, they're well intentioned. They'll be like, "This is how you light a scene, blah blah blah," and it's like, well, when you're doing a documentary, you do what you damn well please, and you do it the way you think you want it to look or whatever. There's always rules with photography and videography, but I think with documentary, you have a lot of leeway. As long as it looks good, do it. Don't tell me to put a camera in a certain place. I'll put it where I want to put it.
Yeah, and what the big muddy monster? Would I say it was like a clinic in like white balance, and the shot placement had that teepee structure.
Oh yeah,
conveniently placed behind the dude. I need to go back and watch that. That was a decent one too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That one's still gaining steam. It's funny. It ebbs and flows. Like on Amazon, it'll kind of like trickle down, and then in the last month, again this year, it's just started blowing up again in the last month, to where I'm getting like, I don't know, 500 viewers a day on it, and it's like, where's this coming from? So yeah,
some bots out there taking it in.
Hey, if it makes me money.
If it's got that that's the one with that lady had that big track.
Yeah, that's Jessica. Yeah, she'll bust every once in a while. I'll be down there like for the festival. I was down there for the festival in July, and she busted that out. I always like looking at that track. It's pretty awesome. I don't know what it is, but it's a track of something. Yeah.
Big as a garbage can lid.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to shave it down a little bit. I think.
So what it is, it's like they made a cast, and then they put the cast into.
It's a cast of a cast. That's what it is.
Yeah, I forgot. There's like a certain term for it. I don't know what it's called. It's almost like a reverse of the cast or something.
Yeah, it's like making a mold.
It's like making a mold. Yeah, like a stomper almost. But then, well, no, the cast is the stomper, and then the stomper goes into the substrate. So it's like the substrate.
I forgot, because this is the second time I watched that other one, the Grand Tower. I forgot how funny the guy with the cigar was.
Oh yeah, Marcus. Yeah.
So we should give him his own show.
He insisted on having a cigar. Now he regrets it, but I'm like, I like it because it's kind of like the personality of the area,
Yeah, it's an independent documentary. You kind of want the tornado victims in it. You don't want you don't want the local scientists.
No. He's a good dude though. He's pretty knowledgeable about the Native American culture down there. He's part Native American, and he likes looking for different artifacts and such. So
he's an arrowhead hunter.
Yeah, but he's found pots and spearheads, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's next level.
Yeah. He knows the spots for sure.
In Alabama, if you're an arrowhead hunter, it means you're just digging for money to buy pills with. That's those guys.
When I was a kid, I used to find all kinds of arrowheads in the fields, and I think I gave them away or something. And now, as an adult, I'm like, what the hell was I doing? Why did I give those away?
We still have several cases of them at my grandparents' house.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
One of them's got a tomahawk right in the middle of it. Old school.
Wow.
I used to want to get it out and chop stuff with it. So let me get it out. I'd go near it. They tackled me. It really makes you wonder if there's something attached to them or not. Because there's hundreds in that house.
Oh my goodness.
These cases.
That'd be cool.
Now, are people in Illinois, do they think that everybody they're related to is an Indian?
No, not so much. I don't think
about it.
I don't think so. No, not really. Well, not in my area because we're in central Illinois, and I mean, there was Native American cultures around here, but not like it was more prevalent in like southern Illinois, maybe western, southwestern type of. There's a lot of mound. So Southwest Illinois has Cahokia, which is the biggest mound community in the United States. I mean, it's like closer to St. Louis. Yeah, it's an amazing place. But yeah, so there's mound builders all along the Mississippi. That's where you're going to find most of the tribes and stories about them. Shawnee National Forest, not up near Chicago. Yeah,
I didn't know it until about 5 years ago that it's a thing about people in the South that everybody thinks are related to the Cherokees. I didn't know that because I was one of them. I thought I was, 20%. And my family looked at. Turns out they're just Italian, and not a bit. And it's been kind of in the back of my mind. I'm like, does anybody else think this? I mean, everybody says, well, my great grandmother was a Cherokee chief, and like, no, they weren't. Like, why is it always a Cherokee? Not princess, not chief.
You know what? I just realized this. My ex-brother-in-law is part Native American, so my nieces are part Native American.
Well, I know they exist.
True, I swear.
I know they exist, but like, people here think they claim their royalty almost. Like, somebody says it's because it's to make up for not being native to this continent.
Oh, basically. Yeah,
it's kind of like a subconscious thing that happened to the population in the South. I don't have a clue why.
Are you near Appalachia?
I'm in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I say in the very foothills are in the county that I'm in, and there's actual Appalachian Mountains in the county I came from, which is one over.
Okay.
Like
awesome.
Everybody had like a mountain in their backyard.
That's awesome. I wish we did, but we just have cornfields.
It's weird not to see mountains because when you're in places like South Alabama and you look when it turns into the plains, you're like, well, where's all the mountains?
I mean, that's why I like Southern Illinois. Southern Illinois is kind of like on the fringe of the Ozark Mountains, you know, which Ozark Mountains aren't like your mountains. They're large rolling hills. They're still beautiful, you know, but Southern Illinois has a lot of bluffs, a lot of bluffage.
I noticed a lot of the rock formations on the side of the water.
Yeah, it's super cool. That's in the. It's a weird area. It's like a corridor of. If you go on the western edge of Illinois, there's a section of road by Alton, Illinois, which is closer to St. Louis, where you have like these, I don't know how tall they are, 50, 75 foot white limestone cliff walls. It's like, I can't believe this is Illinois, you know, because it doesn't look anything like that where I live. You know?
Well, that may have something to do with the reason it's got so much activity, because it's the quartz is what stirs that shit up.
That's what they say, you know. That's why Troy Taylor, who's in Alton, he's always like limestone and water is like a giant battery, paranormal battery, you know. I mean, is it true? I don't know. I kind of fall under the thinking that a lot of geographical features like quartz and God knows what else cause electromagnetic anomalies and mess with people. I think that could be true, you know.
Well, look at what crystal is. Crystal is just quartz, and I don't really buy into the fact that you can rub ammonia and cure your headache or knock a wart off. But if a metal can conduct, electricity like almost like a ray gun, then who's to say another element can't conduct something else, even if it's just a slide?
Right. And there's big fault lines in Southern Illinois. I think and people say like the where the tectonic plates are pressing up against each other creates like an energy. I think that's a possibility where it can
Definitely does
mess with
something.
your head, you know.
Did you know that back in said the before time? It's like we're in some kind of fairy tale. What's up, Sharon? I can't think of the word prehistoric. Like way back at like before, it's got the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous, and there was the Permian before it, and there was this thing called the Bermuda. I can't think of, but it's like a hole in the plate where the Bermuda, and it was underneath our area, yours and my area of the United States back then.
Okay.
And it moved under and caused a lot of the disturbance. And
I
caused
didn't know about that. Yeah.
I'm screwing it up, and I talked to somebody last week about it. That's the paleontologist Kate I had on.
Okay.
But it was like Bermuda. It's like a hole in the plate, and now it's actually under the Bermuda Triangle.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
But back then it was here, and it caused like the upheaval.
Okay.
And that's so it came like right down like through what's the Madrid where you're at.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It came through there and like up under here because there's no dinosaurs in Appalachia, Alabama, and other than like the saltwater ones like plesiosaur.
Okay.
And there's only been one dinosaur ever found in Tennessee, and it was a hadrosaur. They found the bottom part of its tail. So because the Appalachians are 300 million years old.
Yeah.
And the Rockies are 65.
Right.
And so that when the Rockies came up, it pushed the dinosaurs up. When Appalachians came up, there wasn't anything that possessed bones. So that's why there's no fossils.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's all crinoids. It's all if you bust open a limestone rock, it's all sea life and seashells.
Wow.
Yeah. Because we had a ridge on our property growing up, and I was like a redneck and a fossil hunter. And so I'd be like hunting deer, like, man, look at that, that's a fish.
That's super cool. Like Southern Illinois was down.
Yeah.
Portions of Illinois were in ocean. So there's a lot that's why there's a lot of crazy rock formations in Southern Illinois. It looks like lasagna. Like if you cut a piece of lasagna in half, and it's got those, you can see all the noodles. That's what a lot of cliff faces look like around here. Just like crazy rolled up. It's like, how did that happen? But
it's pushed up.
Yeah. Pushed up, rolled, all kinds of weird stuff. Yeah. Like a burrito.
I wish I hadn't thought about that Bermuda thing, because now that's what it was. A Bermuda hotspot. That's what it is.
Okay.
A mid-plate Bermuda hotspot is supposed mid-plate hotspot swell in Atlantic Ocean, southeast Bermuda, proposed to explain the extinct volcanoes of the Bermuda rise. Okay. As well as the Mississippi embayment. Yep. That's what it was. It was like
friction energy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everybody look up Bermuda hotspot when you get a second. It'll blow your mind. Like it almost like moved through like an infection and just caused all hell breaking loose. Like I found up on top of the mountain, my grandparents' place, some coral.
Oh, that's neat.
Look like brain coral, just on top of the mountain.
Yeah.
So it's just the way the ocean, because when you see like a map of it, it doesn't have Alabama. It's like just a little bit of Mississippi. I'm like, no, man, we were underwater. I found seashells. I found seashells in Scottsboro, Alabama.
That's super cool. Yeah, I mean, that's when you wonder if native cultures seen that type of stuff and were attracted to it. Like, is this a sacred area? I'm sure it was. They probably saw stuff that they couldn't fathom what the heck it was.
Because you'll find trilobites and fish. Little fish and clumps of clams just up in the hills.
Neat.
1,000 miles from any ocean.
Right.
And I can't imagine not knowing that. Or maybe you travel as a Native American and know what that is, and you get up there in the mountains and you find it like, what in the hell?
I wonder if that's why like there's certain petroglyphs that I've seen in Southern Illinois, like photos of and things, Missouri, where it's like that doesn't look anything familiar to what Illinois has, so I wonder maybe if they saw fossils and have their own legends about them or whatever.
Or the time is just all screwed up and we think there's been 4 billion years and it's been like 6,000.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to say?
Yeah.
I'm both a creationist and an evolutionist. I think that they created it to evolve.
I mean, I kind of follow along the same way of thinking. Yeah.
I don't think religion and science cancel each other out in a bit.
I don't either.
I think they're the same side, different side of the same coin.
I don't either, and a lot of people don't understand how that's possible.
Yeah, you got to sit back, have an open mind.
Like they always say, like if Bigfoot is discovered, does that cancel out your religion? And I'm like, I don't understand the correlation. How are you? Yeah. No.
I had one guy tell me one time he hopes an asteroid destroys Earth because that'll disprove religion. I'm like, that's the last page of the book. That's what it says happens. Destroyed by fire. I mean, it's right there. That is what you don't want. That you want you want the simulation to end in the computer games. What you need. I get into that stuff because you get to thinking about it. Like, well, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, it's obviously the chicken, but who hatched the chicken? Well, in that instance before whatever dinosaur turned into a chicken, it wasn't a chicken yet. It's kind of like getting getting software updates up through the years.
I just watched something about dinosaurs and they're talking about feathers and all that. I think it's funny. You know, remember your books as a kid, how they pictured dinosaurs and how they still don't know what the hell they look like, honestly. I mean, we have the bones, but they can't figure out what the outside looks like half the time.
They want to say they had feathers, but you can't get a major paleontologist to commit to the T-Rex having feathers.
Right. Yeah.
Because they found skin.
Yeah. Yeah.
And apparently it laid down on its side somewhere and made an impression. But everything else had a feather.
Yeah. You see that thing on Facebook all the time. It'll come up like the best preserved dinosaur, and it looks like kind of like an alligator in a way, but it's super cool, and it's got plates and lizard skin, you know. So the upland moa, they say, is the last known dinosaur, and it was from New Zealand. But it was just a giant ostrich looking thing. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, it has a foot in a museum, and it's just like doing this. Yeah. But technically, it was a dinosaur, but it was the last one. You're a Bigfoot guy, though, right? I like them all. What do you think a Bigfoot is? There's Greg Ogles. So I have to say it's not an ape. I don't think Bigfoot's. I don't think it's an ape. As True Blue is like finding a. It's not like the same scenario as the mountain gorillas from Congo from back in the day when they found them, and like, oh, there's a population of human-sized gorillas. I don't think it's that. I think it's some kind of evolved human with special abilities for some reason. I don't know why. I don't. It's either that or we're all just got some kind of crazy glitch in our brain, and when something happens, we just see a figure in the forest. Yeah. Well, it's interesting just because some researchers will say like they saw it and it had hair all over it. Oh, you know, like a hair on his face, flat nose, and then you'll see other people talk about how it looked human, you know, with no hair on its face, more like a caveman. And well, it's possible for different. It could be, yeah. If it's an offshoot of humanity, let's say it's an offshoot of humanity that didn't get the Prometheus injection to turn it into a human, right? And we got the natural abilities that other things get, whatever reason. Maybe it can cloak or vibrate to can't see. And who's to say they don't evolve different facial features? Like, yeah, you see people that kind of look, you know, like that guy looks like if I saw a Bigfoot that looked like that had a face like caveman features, that'd be the scariest shit I've ever seen, you know, ever. Can you? That would make me go mental, probably. I've made AI make that for me, just like the face of a person, but a Bigfoot. Yeah. And to hear people talk, that's what you see most of the time. Damn. No, I don't want to see it then. Somebody looks like my dad, but just like a Bigfoot, it looks at you, and you're like, what the? I find it like I'd be more sane if it was just an animal, you know. I want it to be an animal, not some crazy ass shit. They say it's got a pronounced nose like a person. Yeah, not flat like a gorilla. There's a reason for that, though. It has something to do with like gorillas live in the climate; they have to have the flat nose. Yeah, And it says it shouldn't have a flat nose if it's in like North America, which there's a scientific explanation for that. But then you see other people say it does have, they've seen it with the flat nose, and they could be lying. So who knows?
I've heard it's either like Neanderthal or monkey. Like you can,
Yeah.
like you see both sides.
Yeah.
And last night, Miss Marie Dumont was talking about how the skunk ape scragglier and more rugged looking than an actual, like your Pacific Northwest version.
That could be because of environmental.
Yeah. You know, the equator paradox. I can't
Yeah,
think of what it's called. She was talking about it.
Yeah.
The little deer and the little monkeys.
The farther away you get away from the equator, the bigger you get.
And Florida kind of is in that zone. Just Florida itself, which is odd because nothing gets out.
That's why Canadian men are so huge.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I don't know. Oh yeah.
That's why Tim Hortons is such a good coffee. I think I'm drinking Tim Hortons right now, though. By the way,
nice.
They sell a 3-pound can on Amazon. And it's amazing. I believe the hype. Like it's some of the best. It's some of the best pre-ground coffee you can buy, and I'll fight anyone.
I'm not a real coffee guy. I drink mocha and cappuccino, which that's like hot chocolate to me.
Yeah, I just learned how to order something frou-frou at Dunkin' Donuts. I let my wife do it so no one sees me. So go in here and give me a vanilla squirt, and because I can't say the word vanilla squirt. Yes, 2 pumps of vanilla squirt, please. Sugar free. So I keep the rest of the sugar in my britches if I'm drinking vanilla squirt.
Right.
And I'm canceled.
And the show's over. Thank you, folks.
It's over. Anyway, we're talking about a documentary, Unexplained by William Shatner, featuring John Stamy. Yeah, I've not to sidetrack the conversation. It's funny, but one of the things I wrote down was all the guys say jets pursued it. This UFO.
Yeah,
I was like, and the guy's like, yeah, and jets came after it. What? You're just going to skip over the jets?
Yeah. So the problem with
those guys skipped over, not you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, there's different UFO. In the documentary, the main UFO that we talk about that went over the power plant, there was a jet scene chasing that. I wish, and I was talking to this other UFO guy, and he's like, "Well, did you try to contact the Air Force and ask him about it?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not that brave enough, or whatever."
I'm just going to repeat that question in their head and see how it sounds when they say it out loud.
Yes, this is Joe Tury from Central Illinois, calling Scotts Air Force Base. Tell me about the 1973 incident where you chased the UFOs away.
Can you get your dot matrix printer out and run me a report real quick, please?
Yeah, I mean,
70s.
But like Michael says, he goes, if it actually happened, there would be some documentation about it. So it would be neat if some researcher one day found it, which, yeah, that'd be killer. I mean, I just don't have the connections to contact the Air Force. And,
you kind of have a constitutional right to it, but if it's classified, you're not going to get it.
Is there a term limit on that?
Freedom only if it's deemed. Usually the person that designates the classification deems the length of it. And I would think that from what I know about how things are classified, which I kind of know a little bit. I've been doing it for a long time. But I don't think that UFOs from the 70s or jet scrambling from the 70s would be of any threat to national security unless it was protecting something that was still a threat. Gotcha. Like there's time and it can go either way. I'd have to look at the actual. I have known the times, but I can't think of it unless it was still. They have to reevaluate it and declassify it, and after a certain amount of time, because once they release something out and it's well known public domain, its classification is kind of dumb. So one of the theories of the incident is it's related to. There was a big UFO flap in Piedmont, Missouri that year, which isn't too far from that area. And I
I mean, there was like hundreds of UFOs reported that year in 73. So one of the theories is it could have been one of the craft that were seen in Piedmont. And who knows what the whole Piedmont thing was. Maybe that was, if you believe in extraterrestrial or ultra terrestrial, then that would be alien, but then it could be military based UFO sightings. And if that's the case, they're not going to release any information on it, but and if it's alien based, the government doesn't know shit about that.
Scott's the one up there where you're at, right?
Scott's Air Force Base. Yeah, they don't have planes anymore, I don't believe. I don't think it's an active like like that type of military,
My company had a job in Crane come open. Like, hey, you want to check that out? I'm like, no. It's right on Mississippi too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Rat Pat, which is 2 states away. Never mind. Sorry. But like 2 states for something like that isn't too far. Rat Patterson.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's where they took the Area 51 stuff.
I did not know that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the original plot to J.J. Abrams' hit Super 8.
Oh, okay.
Is that they were carrying aliens to Area 51 and it busted loose in whatever town that was. Yeah, but then they just changed it to an alien or something. I don't think they ever addressed it. But at first, if the first little the leak, whenever the first announced Super 8, it was Area 51 bound train.
Oh, okay. I love that movie. That was a good movie,
dude. Production value. I've got one of those cameras.
Really?
And Greg Ogles needs to get one and start shooting. Greg just released his documentary. He's the one that had the premiere we went to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome. I want to see that. It's for rent, right?
You can buy it on Patreon.
Okay.
Not that much.
Okay.
But,
quality looked great, man. I saw the trailer. I thought, man, that looks good.
I just wondered if he'd ever thought about using getting the old school Patterson Gimlin camera, going out there and doing some, because they can't shut those off with their mind.
Yeah.
Spring loaded. I've looked at buying some and restored them and like selling them at paranormal conventions, paying off the house. That'd be the most me thing. What is Chris said? Classified and subject to an ongoing investigation are 2 great excuses our government uses to. Yeah, Chris. I see that every day. I hear about things. I mean, I don't like to someone who's not associated with any of that. If they hear about something classified, oh, what is it? What is it? But to someone that deals with it regularly, you're just like, whatever. It's usually something boring. They only work in the day. Yeah, well, you can't use a high spectrum Super 8 camera, I guess. Greg was saying that they got that full spectrum camera, and it's not something that they can see like an IR. It's not like a floodlight to them.
Yeah,
because the camera's pulling in the spectrums. Be as layman as possible about it, instead of putting out a beam to see it. So that's how they get such better results off the full spectrum. So it may be coming back around. Technology kind of meeting itself in the middle.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because the reason the Bigfoots will shut them off is because, there's a camera, Raiden from Mortal Kombat, whatever the hell they do. But if there's nothing being broadcast and it's kind of pulling it in.
Yeah.
That's how I understood it.
If you ever look at or read into Area X in the Ouachita Mountains and North American Wood Ape Conservancy guys, I
didn't know that's where it was.
Yeah, so they talk about, if you listen to their podcast, how they discovered like if you can shoot those like infrared through like a black plastic, and it kind of it covers that up. Like it somehow you could see through with the camera with the infrared, you could shoot through the black plastic, but it's not visible on the other side, and they've tricked them that way, and they've come close to popping one doing that method. So I mean,
our tech is coming along. The personal thermal device has been a game changer, because you get that you get oh my god, You mean you get like the new things you're getting the little nobody has video of them, but they have thermal peeking around a tree.
Yeah.
And that one guy, the squeaky Bigfoot footage from URI.
I don't know which one that
Yeah,
is.
it was getting a Zugat bar.
Oh yeah. I know that one. Yeah.
I met the guy that was he had the wrapper from that bar in his pocket. His name is David.
Like, I'm not convinced on that footage, but
yeah,
I mean, it's interesting.
It could be fake.
I don't even know if it's an I don't even know if it's an art. It's a blob, thermal blob.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to say. I mean, that stuff's always interesting though. I actually want to get a thermal camera, but a decent one, still a little bit of change. But I'd like to get one that can record, not just see through.
I got one of those TikTok shop night vision goggles for Christmas.
Yeah.
But it is so awkward. You almost got to have a shooting stick on it because you're just holding this box. It feels like the 80s. And you're looking at this screen.
Put a strap on it and wear it on your head like a robot.
Yeah. I thought I was trying to figure it out. And what I thought was the binoculars was the IR broadcaster. And my face is, I got a red light in my eyeball. Like, why can't I see anything? I turn it around there. Blinded my retinas.
Nice.
My dad thinks it's cool though, because he lives out in the woods, and in the morning he goes over to his shop. He's an electrician, gets ready for the day, and he'll have deer and everything walk up. Sometimes he keeps guns everywhere. Yeah, Greg, I had it backwards.
I have a Bigfoot doc on my channel that I filmed for my buddies, and one of the guys, Daniel Benoit, he had a thermal, and let me look through it, and it's pretty interesting. It's a little bit, it's confusing if you don't know what the hell you're doing. I'll tell you that. You have to get used to that thermal look in order to kind of understand what the hell you're looking at to begin with.
About Daniel Benoit.
Those are
neat. You're talking about ECBRO?
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
He's good people.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Here's what it is. Like, this is the screen.
Okay.
So you point it out. See, these are IR.
Okay. Yeah, that's just like Call of Duty.
I'm shining IR in my eyeball. I can't see a damn thing. I felt
Does it record?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a micro USB in it. SD card.
Neat.
I felt like I was on Django Unchained. I can't see fucking shit out of this thing. And the whole time this red light was just blinding me. What in the?
Oh my god, that's super cool.
Yeah, it's probably like $65. It's from TikTok shop.
Really?
My mom got it for me.
Okay.
But it looks pretty good. Like, I was up in the woods behind the house there, and you were like looking at a TV screen.
Yeah.
And
how far will it go out?
I was looking in the woods up to 30 yards.
Okay. Wow.
Just from because the woods are thick, and so it just how
you'll have to send me a link to that.
Yeah, I don't think this is the exact brand they have. I think it's one of those things where they make them in every factory in China.
Okay.
And this is called Bush Binoc.
Bush Binoc. Okay.
Yeah, but made in China.
And it's under $100, huh?
I don't think it's much. If it's not much more over it. I don't think my mom would have got it for me if it wasn't. I don't
use that for UFO hunting too.
I really should. I got a lot of light pollution here where I'm at.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wonder if I could. I might go outside and try it. Put too much clouds tonight. Snow's moving in.
Yeah, that's all we need. That's why I don't film a whole lot this time of year. Is because I'm an outdoor outdoor documentarian for the most part, and it's just like I can't handle the cold, man.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
You're going to laugh at the amount of snow we're going to get. It's going to shut this place absolutely down
again.
Like,
did you get hit last week?
No, we got a tornadoes and stuff last week. But they were kind of south of us.
We got like between 8 and 10 inches. I know that's not a lot to a lot of people, but it's enough to shut us down for a day or two.
I would die. We're getting like 3 tonight.
Okay. I think we're supposed to get another possibly 3 or 4 tomorrow. We'll see. I'll be surprised. I mean, when I was a kid, this would be the norm from November to March, but not so much anymore, you know.
Yeah, it goes around. That's a whole nother podcast there. Who knows why the temperature's going up?
Yeah.
I don't really buy the man's doing all of it.
I don't either, but there's definitely weather change. I guarantee you that. I can't tell you what caused it, but it's changing.
Yeah, there has been differences. I've noticed that.
I mean, storms are crazy anymore. It's never a light drizzle. It's never a light drizzle.
It's never just nice outside. It's always like the movie Snowpiercer. I can't even walk out. What's he saying? A casso? Is that a casso? A casso. Oh, it's the same thing. 239. Oh my gosh. My mom spent that much on me. Oh. I told her I'd take her.
She must like you.
I told him I'd take him to a steak dinner. Yeah, I don't think this one's that much. I found it on a similar model for 99. All right, I feel better now.
Nice.
I was like, sure, that's better not to spit that much on that.
No wonder you didn't eat for a week.
Yeah. Well, when my youngest daughter came home today from school, she goes, "Where's that?" She's 4 years old. She's like, "Where's that Bucky bobblehead that Grandma got you?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "Yeah, she got you a Bucky bobblehead." Insisted. I'm like, "I never saw a Bucky bobblehead. Who has a Bucky bobblehead?" And I'm looking in all the bags in the living room. I'm like, "Do I have a Bucky bobblehead somewhere I don't know about?" I was going nuts. I'm like, I gotta put that up somewhere. I got my Rick and Bubba bobbleheads, but not Bucky. Anywho, Chris said, "Where I am at Lake Michigan, the wind coming off the lake is way strong and dropped 3+. Yeah, lake effect snow. I couldn't imagine.
No, man.
I couldn't imagine that kind of snow. I've never experienced snow other than the blizzard of 93 and the random ice storms we have.
Oh,
that was a foot of snow in 93.
Man, when I was a kid, we used to build some awesome toboggan runs and like a foot of snow every year.
I wouldn't know what to do. I want to go somewhere that has it and spend like a week and do whatever people do in snow, but I wouldn't know what to do.
Well, first of all, you have a 4-wheel drive vehicle and a place to stay and watch it out the window.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking more like a cabin somewhere that had it like a winter resort.
I mean, that's always good in theory. I just can't handle the temperature anymore. It sucks so bad.
Like Jackson Hole, Wyoming, go out there and stay for
right. Yeah.
But then you got to leave, and that's what scares me because when it snows here, you can't drive until it's gone.
Yeah,
places like that scrape it up and melt it, and you see it on the TV on the side of the road. The snow's all piled up, but the roads are fine.
I mean, like around here, it doesn't usually stay around that long. This year's this. I mean, it's been a week now or whatever, and it's still here. That's actually unusual anymore. That used to be the norm on 2 decades ago. Not so much anymore. So it's kind of weird to have it actually stick around this long.
Mm-hmm. Around here, if the rule of thumb is if the snow's still there in a week, it's going to snow again. And it usually does. And I think it's because the temperature doesn't get cold, it doesn't get warm enough, and like the next front that moves through causes it to snow again. I see
what you're saying. Yeah.
It's kind of like a one begets the other kind of thing.
Right. Well, I hope it goes away soon.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it's going to snow ice tonight, and then by Sunday, all the sun will melt it off. Get about 40 degrees and melt it off the road at least.
Basically, you're talking about why Grand Tower, unluckiest town, Southern Illinois is like that, where like. Mm-hmm. Ice storms, tornadoes.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody lives on the Mississippi River. That thing's just waiting to do something.
You know, we were talking about Cahokia Mounds. That's one of the theories why that place. There was like tens of thousands of natives living there, and then it just kind of was abandoned like quickly. And they think maybe it's just because of the flooding of the river, possibly. You know, I mean, it's really close to the Mississippi. That thing. Yeah, you're right. I mean,
it's like a bomb waiting to go off.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never understood. I remember growing up, it would flood all the time and it'd be all over the news.
Yes.
You just see houses.
Especially in the 90s. Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
and then, people always bitch about or make fun of Louisiana or New Orleans. Why do you live there? Why you live there? You know how important of a port that is? I mean,
Yeah, that's a hub.
that's a hub. That's why we're there, because it's a money place, I mean,
And plus, it wasn't during Katrina, it didn't flood because of the hurricane. It flooded because the levee broke.
yeah.
It would have held if that.
Yeah.
It just filled with a bowl.
Yeah.
It's like a big bowl of cereal. Here it comes.
But yeah, that's why there's a lot of towns along the rivers. River communities kind of thrive. Some, obviously, a lot of them disappear, but there's a lot of communities that thrive along the rivers.
Yeah, especially back in the day. I mean, that was a
Yeah.
interstate. That was the closest thing we had to an interstate.
Yeah. Well, they were saying Grand Tower at one point was on pace to be bigger than St. Louis, and then just
Didn't work out.
Time didn't work out, and that's common,
But alas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you didn't tell me you'd be live. I don't tell you everything, Glenn. Greg Ogle's been here for an hour asking about you. What's the significance of the power plant other than the siding, the main siding being over it? Was that it? Was the siding where it happened?
What do you mean the significance?
I kept waiting on it to be like a Montauk kind of thing. It was like place where it all came from. In my mind, like there's a government agency under there.
Well, I mean, it's almost cliche, but I mean, it's been confirmed by multiple people that there was a UFO hovering above it for a while. Like
she said, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's 10 years in the UFO world.
Yeah, and not only that, but it was seen for maybe 30 minutes before it went to the power plant. So it was a significant time, and so you hear stories about UFOs around nuclear power plants. Well, again, Piedmont's only 20 minutes as the UFO flies from the power plant. So what was it doing there? Like what? Now there's stories that the gauges were going crazy, but I couldn't confirm those, and so that didn't make the film. But like, rumor has it the gauges were going crazy while this thing was hovering above it. So was it siphoning power, or what the hell was it doing there? So it's kind of I just think it's like the power plant itself. If like you see it in the movie, it's got like weird look to it. It's almost like it was made in the 50s to look like a futuristic power plant. That's what
it's
it
like
looks
a movie
like
set.
to me. Yeah, exactly.
That's why when I was watching, like, it really doesn't come back into play until after the SEMO guys start.
Yeah.
But like you're watching, you're like, oh, what the hell's going to happen to the power? That power plant's got something going on. It was always in the background.
Yeah.
Like,
And what's funny is there's some weird stuff happening there right now. Like there's some, like, someone sent me a picture. There's like an old military vehicle parked out there, and they hear like a fire alarm going off night and day. Like the power plant's not operational anymore, so it's like there's some weird activity going on there. It's kind of probably nothing, but it seems cool, It's like, what the hell?
Greg's Wile E. Coyote. He's Acme. He's lighting it and sticking it back there. Yeah, the what's his name? Willis Hughes Jr.
Yeah.
He's like his whole family worked at the power plant.
Yeah. So that's like the power plant's like the only major place to work there, and it always has. I mean, so 100 years ago or so, there was I think it was called, I'm gonna get this wrong. Anyway, there was an iron ore smelting facility operation going on there, so that was a big thing for a while, and there's still remnants of it in this place called Devil's Backbone. You could see like these furnaces.
Stove.
So the Devil's Bake Oven.
Yeah,
and so there's that tie-in where like Zelia was saying in the movie how like a lot of weird stuff happens in mineral rich areas, and it just makes you wonder, is that why this place is so crazy with like paranormal activity, anomalous lights, whatever. You know, there is a cool story that, again, this isn't quite in the documentary, but Willis's son is a riverboat pilot, and I heard stories about electromagnetic interference there, and that was one of the rumors that Kevin Lee Nelson told me about. So I asked Willis's son about it, and he goes, "Yeah, but he attributes that to like the lay of the river there is all crazy. There's like, you know, cliffs and bends and turns in the rivers in that section." And he says the compasses don't work there. It's like one of the few places on the Mississippi that he goes to where it messes with the navigation systems there. And isn't that neat though? Like you always hear stories about electromagnetic interference, and you're like, yeah, that's bullshit, but it's true. So it makes you wonder, is it geological? Is it you know, is it caused by the fault line? Is it caused by portal to another dimension? You know, whatever. It's cool.
The Tower Rock area?
Tower Rock is right next to Grand Tower. It's like, I don't know, half mile, a mile from the power plant down the river.
They said the Corps of Engineers like took out the rocks around it.
Yeah, so
I was like, why the hell they do that? For barges?
I think so, but like I saw an old plate of like multiple formations coming out of the river around Tower Rock. And if you look at some of my drone footage in the movie, I think, or if you look at pictures of Google of the river that's low in the area, you could see where the other formations were. And yeah, and that's a sacred site. That was a sacred site with Native Americans, and the Army come in and blew the shit out of it. So it's like, okay, here, let's make a curse. Let's blow the shit. That wasn't
the one with the body in it, was it? That was one of the mounds that had the body in it.
Yeah, that's one of the mounds. Yeah. There's multiple mounds in that area. I was just there last week hanging posters around different areas of the town and like out in the country. There's some local bars and stuff. So my buddy Marcus actually was with me, and he was, hey, go down this back road. That's the shortcut. And we're going, and I look over, and there's a mound right there. And he goes, "Oh yeah, that's a burial mound." And I'm like, "Holy shit!" You know, it's like they're everywhere.
On a campfire with Marcus, just sitting there.
Oh, he's got some good stories, man. I'm telling you,
that'd be worth the price of admission.
So he tells it. I don't want to tell all the nuggets away, but he tells a story about seeing these wolf apparitions. Well, a cool story is there's this I call him a historian. There's this guy in the town, and he's been there a while. He's an older gentleman, but he told me in a private conversation, he didn't want to appear in the movie or anything, that he was walking his dogs along the levee there one morning, and he saw and I believe this guy is not like into this stuff at all. He's not, he's just a non-believer type of dude, but he's like, I saw a white wolf come over the levee and kind of look at me, and I'm sitting there kind of freaking out looking at it. And then another one comes up, and then another one comes up, and they kind of just look at me, and then they turn around and leave. I don't know if you know anything about Illinois, but we don't have wolves, and not white wolves. So it's like, what the hell's going on? And I believe him 100%. Like, he wasn't making shit up. He's just like matter of factly. And I'm like, do you want to talk about it? And he's like, no, I don't want to be in the movie or anything. But he goes, you can use my story if you'd like. If I used every story I heard, it'd be a 3-hour documentary. That's what I always say.
You gotta call them a little bit, and you feel bad because they're all.
Yeah.
It's like having your favorite nugget of gold.
I've got a killer story I wish I could have put in there, but it was this dude. He's in his early 60s. He lives in Missouri, and he works for the government. I don't know if he works for state or federal, but he works over there. And he told me a story when he was 14, like in an area right across from Grand Tower, like not very far away from there, where he came across. So he's riding a horse. He's 14 years old, riding his horse on his farm, and he sees this glowing shit behind a hill. And so he gets off the horse, he hobbles the horse, walks over there, creeps over there, climbs to the top of this hill behind a tree, and he looks down and he sees a like a tent shaped, like a multi-sided UFO hovering about 10 feet above the ground. And he wouldn't come out and say exactly, but I knew what he was talking about. He said he saw a lot of movement in the weeds around the tent, around this floating object.
He saw some Bigfoot.
No, aliens. He saw aliens. And he said they kind of went into the object and then it just shot out of there like in a couple seconds. Like he's legit saw a UFO when he was a kid, and he didn't want to be in the documentary because he's like, no, I don't want to be recognized or anything. I think, and I talked to him multiple times, and at first he was for it, and then I think he just thought about it, and I just concluded that he just wanted to get it off his chest. Like he just wanted to tell the story, but he doesn't want to be the crazy dude, So I tend to believe older people because older people normally don't give a shit, and he saw something and it makes you wonder what the hell he saw. And I'm not an alien believer. I just don't think we have alien pilots flying around, but he saw, these people are seeing something, and I mean, who the hell am I? I don't know what the hell they're seeing.
That's the part that'll keep you up at night. Is they're seeing something?
Yeah,
they're not lying. Why would he lie about that? Just make it up.
No, and it's not drones. You're talking back in the 70s, and when the government had drones, but not like we have drones now.
No, back then the drone was the aircraft size.
Yeah.
I remember watching a documentary about how they filmed some footage for action movies, and it was a remote control helicopter with a camera on it. I remember thinking, "Oh my god, a remote control helicopter with a camera on it." I felt like Bugs Bunny, spear and magic helmet. Holy shit!
Exactly.
And now it's just like everybody. Now my daughter's got one; she can fly in here at any minute.
Right. You could buy a drone that can shoot 4K killer footage for a few $100
at Buc-ee's. You go. I had to address Chris's comment here because that was the episode of The Simpsons where Homer ate the Play-Doh to go over 300 pounds. I remember it says non-toxic, Dad. He goes, okay. He's wearing that moo with the daisies on it.
Right. We have a nuclear power plant in Clinton, Illinois, which is about an hour and a half away from here, and God dang, waiting to see a 3-headed dude or something like that walking around. Who knows what we're so stupid with our nuclear. We don't know what the hell we're doing with it half the time, especially when it first came out.
As far as those stories go, like the fellow he was talking about with the aliens, like I've gotten several of those where I'll send hey, we want to come on the podcast because they do that. And then they'll message me, come with their entire story, flood me with pictures. I'm like, you want to come on? Nah. I'm like, what the hell? What did we just do for the last hour and a half?
Yeah, I have another person who's sent me a shit ton of, like, I talked to her multiple times. She sent me a shit ton of UFO looking pictures, man. Like some of them are like, I don't know what the hell this is. Some of them are like, man, that's pretty interesting. And then same thing, I actually knocked on her door like she told me to, and then she backed out, like she didn't even answer the door type of thing. Then she messages me again later and it's like, I wish I would have interviewed. It's like, yeah, me too. But and
I've been great.
I can't show that shit without your permission, so I'm not going to. And pictures aren't very fun or interesting unless you have the eyewitness telling you the story behind them, so I got a ton of cool stuff that I could have put in the doc if I had a little bit more substance behind it, but it's a crazy area. I think it's fun. Like people make fun of people that do this stuff or are interested in it. I'm always like, why? I think it's interesting. Like it's enjoyable for me to get out to these places and investigate, and I don't give a shit if it's true or not. There's a there's something about these stories that even if they're not true, there's other things about it that are captivating. Like, why are people interested in it? How it affects the community.
Mm-hmm.
There's always some, there's always something to be learned from these stories, whether you believe them or not. I mean, I get it. Everybody has a different interest. Some people just aren't interested in this shit. Even if they saw a Bigfoot, they'd just be like, "Oh, okay, Bigfoot." They wouldn't. But other people are like, "Oh, Bigfoot."
Yeah. And how come the craze hasn't died at all?
Yeah.
Even though we have cameras in every square foot of America now,
Where are the bodies?
people still seeing them and swearing just as hard as they did in 1950 that they saw them. And like, well, how come there's no pictures of them? Like, I don't know. And they're still seeing them. Somebody's seeing something. Greg Ogle saw one.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, he saw one in front of the truck.
Oh, man.
I don't know if I'm spoiling the documentary or not, but he told the actual story on my podcast, so I think it's out there.
That's awesome. Do you listen to Bigfoot and Beyond with Cliff and Bubbo?
I have. It's not a regular.
Yeah, so there's a guy named Mark Marcel. He's a pretty famous dude. He's around the Ape Canyon area in Mount St. Helens, and he discovered the cabin that's in the Ape Canyon story. Like, he rediscovered it. The guy's like a big time Bigfooter. Anyway, that's awesome, Greg.
Throwing rocks at it.
Yeah, it's like one of the best Bigfoot historical stories you'll ever hear. But anyway, just him and Bobo were doing a documentary, and just this past year, I guess he had his like first sighting in his life. I mean, the guy's been a Bigfooter for decades, and he saw a couple of them. So I don't know. It always piques my interest when I hear people like that see stuff, and it always makes me think, what if I saw one day? Like, what would my reaction be? Would I tell anybody? Being a filmmaker is kind of a double-edged sword with that. Like, if you're like, I saw a Bigfoot or I filmed one, people are like, this dude's a filmmaker,
Of course
you didn't see shit.
Of course you saw one.
Of course you saw one. That's why a lot of people think Roger Patterson was full of shit, because he was making a Bigfoot documentary at the time.
Very convenient.
Yeah.
Made the most well-known one in history.
Shit.
I go back and forth with that one a lot.
I think it's funny because it's hard for people nowadays to understand, and I don't know if it's real either. I really don't. But like the whole suit thing, people don't understand how difficult it would be to make that suit. And then other people look at it and say, "Oh, that looks like a suit." But if it's a suit, it's one of the best friggin' suits ever made. And it was in 1967, and people, younger people nowadays don't even, they can't imagine a world without internet. They just don't understand the concept that how difficult that would have been to do back then. I mean,
it was not an easy place to get to.
No, and it still isn't, from what I understand. But
it's a little easier now. You can park a little closer.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm with you. I go back and forth with it because sometimes you look at it and you're like, that looks so friggin' fake. It's not even funny. But then other times you look at it and go, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, people say they can see muscle definition and all that, and sometimes I wonder if they're really seeing muscle definition or folds in a suit. I mean, it's hard to say. I hope it's real. I think it'd be badass if it's real.
What's the they say for that muscle? I said it was a herniated muscle.
Yeah, that's what I think is bullshit. It's like, well, that kind of looks like pixelation or something to me. Or I don't even. Well, it's film, so I don't know what it would be, but that could be a fold in the suit, right? So I don't know. Hey. There's a bulge in its thigh, and people are like, "Oh, that's a herniated." Okay, well, I don't know about that.
I've also heard it's his wallet, his front pocket.
Oh, I can see that.
The hair on the leg looks like a flap, which means
yeah.
It's they say it's the best footage of a Bigfoot we have, but I don't. It's like that as long as it happened, and
Yeah.
there's so many factors that go to him doing all of that.
Yeah. So like one thing, he had a sketch that he did a year before that had a similar,
with the
it's
boobies.
not exact, but it's a similar sketch of a Sasquatch with the famous sideways. So you look at that and you're going, okay, well, this is fake as F, but again, it's hard to say because it is the way it's moving across that creek bed. Like if you've ever hiked in a region like that, it's not an easy feat to do. And think about being in a suit and trying to walk in a creek bed.
You know what you never hear? And I think about every time I get in this conversation and get down a little rabbit hole, you never hear about the one thing that gives Roger Patterson more credit is that's his name, isn't it? Roger Patterson?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello from Springfield, Illinois.
Hey, Joel, what's up, buddy?
Joel in the house.
Joel makes all the music for my documentaries, all
shit.
the ambient music. Yeah.
He's a legend.
He is a legend.
What I was saying is like, what the Patterson Gimlin footage we know him now is stabilized. It's what you don't realize is it's freaking Cloverfield.
Right. Yeah,
You would think if he wanted to do it and do it right, he would set it down and put it on, at least on a shooting stick.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what makes me think that adds almost a little bit more validity than anything. Because why wouldn't, like, if you could tell Hieronymus, all right, action, and like holds to do this instead of jumping off a goddamn horse.
I wish there was audio.
Yeah.
I wish there was some audio.
Maybe like a clapper. Like maybe he's like, God damn it, Hieronymus, stop walking. I got to get off the horse first. I can't do it again. No one's ever going to believe it. Like maybe it's something like that, but I don't know. But
have you seen the Freeman footage?
Which one's that? I think I have.
It's called the Blue Mountain Freeman. It's Paul Freeman, and that's the one where it's an older guy, and he's like, there he goes, and then there's like a Bigfoot in the woods, and he's walking. It's just as clear as the Patty, but it's a little bit. There's a lot more like
it looks like an end of the trail kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know them.
It's from like 92.
Oh yeah, that's that. The guy's all hunched over. Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, I mean, so that's supposedly the second best footage we have. And
what about the one in the swamp, tearing out that tree?
Is that an older one? Honey,
maybe the honeycomb, Honey Creek,
Honey Island. I forgot what it's called. I think that's a guy in a ghillie suit. If that's the one that you're thinking of, he's like
ripping out a tree.
I'm not sure. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't know. That's an interesting one though. I'm always suspicious of that shit when it's like dudes filming it from behind type of thing, and I don't know. I'm kind of a big skeptic on a lot of that shit. I'm a weirdo. Like I believe that it's a possibility, but I look at a lot of shit and I'm like, that's not legit.
You have to be that way. Otherwise you're going to make your brain go down this weird path to where you just want to circle everything.
Well, I mean, I think that happens to a lot of legit researchers where
I've seen it. I was like, oh my God.
They'll see something legit once in their life, and then they study it over and over and over and over again, and then they start to believe everything they see is whatever, Bigfoot, UFO, whatever. I think they kind of lose their skepticism and their objectivity over a while. Very few people don't,
If it's when they start, it's not, they don't, what am I trying to say here? They don't, aren't doing it on purpose, but they want the other piece of evidence.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. I'm not saying they lie about it. I think they become obsessed with it.
I've seen it, and especially if they're old.
Patty's anywhere from 6 foot to 7 foot. They're Cliff, Barrickman believes
Bobo do this next to a tree.
Yeah. Cliff Barrickman believes it's in like that 6'2", 6'5", region. Other people try to say 6'7", 6'8", so it's hard to say.
I had a guy send me a picture, a game camera of. There were two pictures before it of a doe standing there eating. Third picture, he said there's a Bigfoot in it, but if you look at it, it's clearly the doe jumped when it happened.
Yeah,
and it caused the front part of its body kind of morphed into like this. But you can tell what it is, and he just told me, no, that's not what it is. I'm like, brah, that's what it is.
There's a real famous one. It was actually on Finding Bigfoot. It's a crow taken off, and it looks like a Bigfoot's in the weeds, but it's actually a blurry bird, caught on a camera, and people they don't want to believe that. They want to say, no, that's a legit Bigfoot. And again, I'm not mocking people and saying everything they're saying is, incorrect or whatever, but you gotta be more objective. I've heard so many stories, like I seen orbs. And I've been shown pictures. Hey, here's the orb that I was talking about. Okay, that's called it's green because that's the most common lens flare you're going to get is like a green orb. Okay, so that's a lens flare, and I know you don't want to believe that, but that's why you didn't see it with your naked eye when you were taking the picture, because the lens is causing that in the camera, not in your eye.
Or like a sun dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, there's two suns. No, there's not. Sun dog.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, with technology, you're going to start seeing, people are going to start seeing more UFOs and things like that are just satellites and orbs and not orbs, I'm sorry, drones.
I think the iPhone and smartphones have set the investigation process back 30 years.
Why is that?
And because they have algorithms looking for faces.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you zoom in on something, it's automatically just going. It's like the red light, green light thing.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's like trying to find something. And so you'll see like two little dots on a tree. I'm like, it's just looking for it, man. It's not a real picture.
Yeah.
But if everybody carried around, like I said earlier, like a spring-loaded 8mm, like some kind of crazy person, you might have more sightings in the daytime. But everybody gets these iPhones out and like, oh, here he is. Let me zoom in on. Like, well, that's nothing. It wouldn't matter if it was there.
What's funny though is I think a lot of the stories I hear that what was I saying? A lot of stories I hear about, like they're saying they're the hoaxer or it was a hoax. The hoax story is just as unbelievable as the supposedly real story. So that's like in a Creature from Big Muddy. There's a guy that my buddy was telling the story that he claimed he was the hoaxer, and it's like, that sounds total BS, buddy. I mean,
he slipped up through there and did it.
Right. I was hiding in the weeds all night, hoping someone would come by, and I made some skunk juice and the wind was just blowing in the right direction, and it's like, that sounds just as fake as the actual story. So what am I supposed to believe here? You went through all
of that for that. Why don't you do that?
Yeah, right. So it's like same thing with Bob Hieronymus. Like, I don't believe his shit either. So I don't know. That's a hard one.
Bob Hieronymus's walking footage that everybody shows you. Like, that's just a dude walking across the parking lot. He doesn't even lift his feet up. Like the patty stick is his foot coming up.
Right. And I like how like if you listen to Cliff Barrickman, he talks about there's a reason why the science behind why it walks like that, because of the weight of the creature and the morphology of the leg has to be like that. I that's why I find it interesting and somewhat believable. That footage is because of the way it moves like that. And it's like, well, if you were a several 100-pound bipedal creature, that's how you're going to have to move. So
I bet that video has been broken down every single way it can possibly be broken down.
It's hilarious that we're talking about it because what we can't offer anything new on it either. But
I could cut this image and get cut this clip and get 1,000 views. The same thing 10 million other people have said.
So there's this thing, I'm sure you've seen it. There's like, this is the clearest footage we have of the creature, and you can like see the facial features and all this shit. That's a sketch by a dude named Rob Roy Mendez, I believe his name is. And he's like, that's my sketch. People cut, or it's either like a sketch or a painting, and he's like, people crop my name off of it and say it's part of the film, or like overlaid in the film. He goes, no, that's my sketch. And I just saw another video on YouTube where the guy's like, this is broken down, and this guy Todd somebody, I'm like, I think that's Rob Roy's sketch. What the hell? And I didn't know about it until, I mean, if you're in this subject matter long enough, you're going to come across all the stories. And so it took me forever to finally realize where it came from. But it's like it keeps going around. It's cyclical. It's like, this is the most enhanced footage frame of Bigfoot ever. And it's like, nope, that's Rob Roy's drawing. So
I'm looking at it right now. You see his little signature at the bottom.
Yeah, and it's got like more facial features. There's a glint in its eye and stuff. It's like, where's that glint coming from, buddy? I mean, they didn't have do you understand that a glint in someone's eye is caused by external lights? You know, that's why what you see in photography, that's a studio light.
They didn't have a flash bulb in there.
We didn't have a flash bulb. Right, yeah. People are like, no, that's legit. No, I wish it was.
It's enhanced.
It's enhanced,
8 millimeter from the 60s, man.
Right.
It sounds well, they'll believe anything. People want to believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it could be 100% real footage, but the logic you're using to say it's true isn't correct.
I wonder if there might be more of a clue if you watched it unstabilized, but no one's ever done that. No one's ever analyzed the unstabilized version. They always took the stabilized. Yeah. Like there's some kind of crazy clue. Like, oh my God, I've never noticed that before. Like you would only do that if you were unstabilized.
Yeah, you see the clapper.
Yeah, or like
right before.
Or you notice like something about Roger jumping off his horse.
Yeah,
and like, oh shit. Or maybe there's like when he jumps off his horse and looks down for a second, there's like a cowboy hat hanging on a limb next to like a vest.
Right. Yeah.
Then there's the other side of that story where they say there's footage where there was a massacre of Bigfoot before it happened. And I think that's been debunked, but I heard that.
And then there's other stories about multiple footprints and and what's funny is Cliff Barackman was like, I just listened to an episode a few weeks ago where he's like, the true story behind all the footprints is Roger was there because he was told there were footprints in the area, and that's why he was in the area to begin with. And then he saw Patty. And then I just saw an interview with Bob Gimlin, who said there was multiple footprints there. So and like Cliff said there wasn't. That's why he was in the area.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, well, what's the real story? Was there multiple footprints there at the time? Is Bob Gimlin lying now, or what the hell's going on with that? So,
and why didn't it cloak and run away like they're
right? If they can cloak, why didn't it do that? Yeah,
maybe it didn't see us as that kind of threat back then. That's the only thing I can think of.
Maybe they don't cloak.
Maybe how dare you? What? Joe Tury is a Bigfoot truther.
Remember, I'm an aper.
You're an aper?
Yeah.
I'm just for the love of God, let it be something or
I was talking about that before. Like, I've seen a bear in the woods in California. And it was a baby bear, and it scared the shit out of me because it was just ripped, man. It looked like baby Arnold Schwarzenegger, man. It was just ripped, man. You could tell that if that thing got a hold of you, even as a baby, you would be dead meat. And so think about if you come across like an 8-foot tall Bigfoot, everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm going to run toward it and take pictures. No, you're not. No, you're not, dude. No, you're not. You're a liar. That's not what's going to happen. You may think that's going to happen, but if you actually come across a moose in the woods, and if you're smart, you wouldn't be going up to it, you know?
Yeah, it's like you've seen a ghost, Greg. It's for all intents and purposes to the human, having that is just like seeing a ghost. It's the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
I had the opportunity to see how I would react. I don't know if I've told you this one before. To actually having an experience with a Bigfoot without actually doing it. And it's the closest anybody will ever come to seeing how they react without having to actually do it. And I woke up at 3 a.m. in a popular area, a hotspot, if you will. And I'm talking about the Bermuda hotspot. And I heard leaves crunching, slow bipedal leaves. And I mean, it was shh. I'm like, this is happening. My first night there. And I had talked to Wild Trees, the biologist, co-host of mine. Yeah. We discussed it a lot. He goes, if you see it coming on, take a deep breath, calm down, accept it. Don't freak out, because for the most part, it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
And just accept it and deal with it. And I heard that. I said, oh God, this is happening. I heard, and it's 3 a.m. in the woods. Nobody's around. Everybody's asleep. And as soon as it got closer and started getting louder and louder to my tent, I heard, and come to find out, it was the person in my tent next to me snored real loud.
Oh, but shit.
The footprints were my toboggan, which I should say stocking cap to you. While I was breathing, it was rubbing my whiskers in my ears. So it was,
oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And so it was like having headphones on over it. And so I was hearing my toboggan move ever so slightly over my whiskers as I breathed and woke up. Because I woke up here. And so when my heartbeat sped up,
yeah.
And then I realized, I was like, fuck.
I got a good story for you. And I've had similar experiences where I like Greg's comment there.
Hey, Greg.
Like my buddy was trail running along this trail, and he heard a fucking bear coming after him, like, and it freaked him and he said he never ran as fast in his life. He turned around, it's a chipmunk in the leaves. Like forest, when you're in the forest and you hear shit like that, like I've heard squirrels, and if you're not used to those sounds, I can see why people were immediately fight or flight mode.
And you can't really tell distance and size if you're just hearing a sound.
No, you can't.
Because something that sounds really loud, like a squirrel in the leaves 10 foot from you, sounds like all hell's breaking loose.
Yeah. Squirrel barking is a weird sound. Yeah, and you're like, and again, if you're like one of those weekend warriors who doesn't go into the woods very often, I'm not a woodsman by any means. I grew up in the woods, but I'm not like that. But there's shit in the woods that you'll swear is a poltergeist. It could be like a bobcat or a fox or a porcupine or a
domesticated pig. Like I'm a forever outdoorsman because of how I was raised. But like I live in the subdivision now, just live close to work.
That's
so
how
when I'm back in the woods for like 20 minutes. Like it all comes rushing back. All of a sudden, I can talk to hoot owls.
Yep.
And so, like people start trying to say things about the woods that, like, I got this sound. I'm like, no, dude, you don't have a sound. You have, like what Greg says, a fox at night.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a fox. How do you know? Because I fucking know, man. I mean,
yeah. You've seen that video of the two bobcats going at it on the road where it sounds like they're talking in like broken English or something.
Yeah, sound like samurai chatter.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm I'm gonna say something that's blasphemous. I don't believe the Sierra sounds are legit.
It's not exactly blasphemous.
You know why? Because you don't have any other recordings like that. Like you have some recordings that are vaguely similar, but nothing like that. So
For 30 minutes.
How come that's been captured, but never again? Like those sounds have never been captured again.
You know what gets me about those, and one of the main factors is they confess to talking back to them.
Yes.
And so,
yeah.
what the hell? Which one of those are real? Like,
Yeah. And hey, that's pretty good. Not only that, it sounded like they handed the mic to him, and they were like, "Okay, just go to town," because I mean, it sounds like they're talking right in the mic.
You can't tell which one's real, and I'm like,
No.
it sounds like they're right next to them.
Yeah.
And if Bigfoot are so adverse to people knowing there, why would they like, hey, some dude's over there hollering just like us?
But the story itself, like, if that's legit, that's freaky as F, because they're like in this. It's like a teepee like structure. Just with, if you ever seen
they're in the teepee.
Yeah, they're in the teepee, and it's just like these logs they put together, and like being trapped inside of it. That, I mean, if that's legit, that's another one where you're like, I'm never going in the woods again, type of thing. But what in down in Grand Tower that people see, and this is all over the place, but like when you see orbs, like lights in the woods, and it's like, what the hell is that shit? So that's seen at Devil's Backbone all the time. And it's not swamp gas. It's not swamp gas.
Swamp gas.
Is it caused by the like the fault line goes right over Devil's Backbone? So it makes me wonder if there's like light, like electromagnetic energy causing orbs or something. I don't know. But
you should see the footage Greg got of those orbs.
That shit's freaky, because if you're in the middle of the woods and you see an orb floating at night, like, you know what I mean? Like, what's that?
You hope to God it's a rapist or something with a flashlight.
Something you can fight. Yeah.
Jeez, I hope this is a guy with a gun. Because otherwise, this is scary. I should have picked the bear.
I agree with you, Chris. I'm okay with running from a chipmunk too.
I was in the woods one time. I was in probably 6th grade, and I wasn't far from I wasn't 30 yards from the house, and a coyote ran up, and I climbed a tree and got scared, wouldn't come down for a damn coyote. Knowing now, I'd have been like, get out of here. But I was that young. Oh God, a wolf, you know?
So one of the freakiest coyote stories I have is when we were filming, I was filming a documentary called Paranormal Prairie, and it's a multiple stories of just paranormal stories of Illinois. And one of the scenes, we were recreating a lady, she was an axe murderer, and her spirit is seen in the middle of the road. So my girlfriend, yeah, I agree with that too, Greg. So we were filming at night, and what it was a car comes across, cars come down this road, this apparition appears, and it causes them to swerve and crash, right? So the way we filmed it was we just pulled the car up to her in the middle of the road and then backed the car up, and then I just played it in reverse and editing at super fast, so it looks like you're driving down the road, right, and run into somebody like an apparition. Anyway, so we're backing up, and we go back, I don't know, 1/8 of a mile to where she's not in the headlights anymore, and then we go back, pick her up, and drive, and about not even a minute away, we see about 20 eyes in the road. It was a pack of coyotes. They were like right behind her.
Woo.
while we were filming. It's like, oh, okay.
What if they would have kicked up? She'd have come running towards you. You'd have freaked.
Oh my God. I mean, I grew up in the country and shit. I still am scared of coyotes. I mean, I don't want to do a pack of when I went camping recently in up in kind of a northwestern portion of Illinois, there was a bunch of coyotes in our campground. and it's like this is it's unnerving to me.
Even though you know they won't hurt you and you can kick them in the mouth, they sound like the devil.
Yeah.
And you don't think, because you hear them far off at like a far ridge, like yip, 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 and the dogs, the local dog. But when they kick up on the same ridge as you, you're not ready for it. You're not ready. I mean,
no.
It takes you a minute or two to get like, "Who? What was that?" Like, oh, it's a coyote. And you're like, okay. I'm like, I like walk toward it and try to scare it away. At that point, when it first starts,
I was in a state park. I'm not carrying a pistol or anything.
You gotta find like a cedar stick or something. And you hit them with a stick. You mean you're like the Beast whenever those wolves attack Belle, Beauty and the Beast. But
right. What do you think about Bigfoot imitating coyote?
I've heard that
false. True or false?
I've heard true. I've heard about it. False. I don't know if it do it. I think there's a lot of people that love to pin animal imitations on it just to say that they like
owls. A lot of people say owls.
What was the guy on your documentary talking about how they imitated everything? I'm like, that's just animals, man. You're just hearing animals.
I hear that from a lot of people though.
I do too.
I mean, and again, who's to say they're incorrect?
I've heard that they mess it up, like the guy said. The Bigfoot will mess it up, and it doesn't have like the trill, like an owl go, woo, 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 but Bigfoot will go, woo, 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 woo.
Right. Then I've heard some really, I'll call them famous people that do audio work in the Bigfoot field, and they're like, here's this audio, and it's Bigfoot imitating someone's voice, and I'm like, you know what I liken it to is like paranormal people when a mic runs across their clothes and they say, this is a demon saying, I'm going to kill you or I'm going to eat you. No, that's your mic running across your clothes and it's causing a noise. And then you're telling me that what it's saying. Well, like these Bigfoot people will have this audio and it's like, that sounds canine to me. Maybe it's not, but a lot of their audios, I'm an audio guy too, so I don't believe a lot of audio work, or I'm not I don't believe in it as like, oh, this is legit evidence. You know what I'm saying? I think it's very anomalous a lot of times.
I love when they play the EVPs, and they just have the subtitle. Oh
yeah,
just a
yeah. But if you don't look when you're listening to it, it doesn't sound anything like that.
Yeah, have you seen the Todd Glass movie, David Cross movie about Across the Great Divide?
I don't think so.
And it's the guy that
I just heard a Bigfoot in your background.
That's my freaking kids, man. They're imitating. They've been just every time I get back here doing something, it's all hell breaking loose out there. That's why I want to get my shack, but with a padlock. But it's David Cross. He's an actor, nerdy looking dude. Okay. But it's about a guy. His wife gets sick. He's a biologist. He gets a grant to study butterflies across this place in the Pacific Northwest. It's like a 30-day hike, and it really happened. Robert Pyle's the guy's name.
Okay.
It's called Bigfoot and the Great Divide. The movie's called The Great Divide. I highly recommend it. Okay. It's not action packed, but it's good. It's the Forrest Gump of Bigfoot movies. It's
I'm gonna have to check it out.
If it's worth watching, and if you're expecting to watch an action movie, you're going to be disappointed. If you're expecting to watch a love story, you'll be disappointed. Yeah. But as far as a Bigfoot movie goes, it's amazing. It's like the upper echelon. Like if Anthony Bourdain was a Bigfooter, that would be like his favorite movie.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah. It's worth The Great Divide. But he runs in, like in the book the guy writes is talking about how he actually experienced it. Okay. Like it's crazy. It's well worth watching. He was talking about that they do the whoop whoop. That's what he said he heard.
Yeah. I'm sure like people that are watching this are probably like, why is this guy like Bigfoot? It sounds like he thinks everything's fake. I'm just like super sick. Like I really believe that it's possible. A lot of like I believe in UFOs. I just don't know what they are. I believe in paranormal. Bigfoot, I believe it's very possible. But I'm very, I'm also super skeptical about a lot of the shit. because I just don't like when people present it as fact. You know, I mean, unless you see a Bigfoot hit a tree with a stick, you can't tell me that the noise you heard is a Bigfoot hitting a tree with a stick. You know, I just, that's what always ticks me off is when people present things as fact because they want to believe so bad. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's true. I want it to be true.
I'd give anything for it to be true.
Yeah, for sure.
Greg's got a good knock on his video.
Really?
That sent chills down my spine.
What area?
LBL, Land Between the Lakes.
Oh, okay. That's becoming the new
It's the thing.
Yeah, that's the new thing.
I made it my cover photo just to show myself I had legitimacy. Me and the LBL. He asked if you can analyze the growls on his film. He's got a couple of them.
What they sound like?
Somebody said it sounded like what an alligator sounds like, a guttural.
Huh.
It's a real guttural growl. It's not like you're hearing a dog growl at you.
Are there alligators in that area?
No. Not
wild boars?
There might be wild boars. Well, in fact, there actually are, but
see, and that's the thing about talking about analyzing woodland creatures. People say, you know, they're looking at a spectrograph, and like if it's a squirrel, it has a certain frequency. If it's a pig, it has a certain frequency. I just don't know how accurate that is.
I think they're really missing the boat, Chris, because it literally is the Forrest Gump of Bigfoot.
That's
movies.
Hilarious.
You should watch The Great Divide.
Is that a Tubi thing? Can you see it on Tubi?
I think it was on Prime. I think it's free on Prime.
Okay.
But it's like a Oscar level movie.
Wow.
It's not B-rate. It's not cheesy. It's when you see who the main character is, like, oh, that fucking dude.
Okay.
But you've seen him before, and it's got
Forrest Gump of Bigfoot movies. That's awesome.
It's got several well-named actors that you know in it. Huh. But it's sad. It's like a drama with Bigfoot in it.
It's got to be under 90 minutes or else it's too much for me.
I think no, that's not it.
Unless it's Lord of the Rings, I'm not watching a movie over 90 minutes.
Debbie Does Dallas. Wait just a damn minute. Hang on, I'll find it. I'm researching this because I got to know who the actors are. And I'm sure.
Now I want to watch Greg's movie. I'm interested in that.
You really should. His is called the Cryptic Expeditions, Land Between the Lakes. Where is it? And his is.
You guys watch Hellbent Holler?
Mm-hmm. Met those guys.
So here's my theory when whatever you call it, when I'm watching people's YouTube stuff, I like people's videos because they're spending a lot of effort for my entertainment. And I mean, if I'm interested enough to watch your video, I don't care if it's shitty or not, I'm going to give you a like because you spend a lot of your time and effort to create content for me to watch and for other people, obviously, to watch. I kind of find some of their stuff not like they're lying, but I kind of feel like they're in that boat now where a lot of shit they come across is evidence. I'm like, you're stretching it right there.
It's like they have to have. It's called the Dark Divide. I've gotten it wrong.
Okay, the Dark Divide.
But yeah, there it is. So you know the actor. You're like, I didn't know I know him.
Okay, yeah.
But it is. Hey, it's so good. And the actors in it. It's almost star-studded. It's got Will and Grace. Grace. It's the lady from Mothman. Lady from Mothman, and this guy. He was in Ricky Bobby. It's got the dad from what show was that?
That Tony Dupay or whatever. He looks very familiar.
Yeah, a lot of them people you see like, oh, that dude. Hey, there's dude.
Yeah.
He's from, what is that show I've been watching? It's not worth it. He played somebody's dad.
Gotcha.
Oh, Resident Alien plays
Okay.
the lady's dad. Highly recommend it.
Neat. Okay.
Dark Divide.
They don't.
Dark Divide. But Robert Powell is the actual person that did it, and he wrote a whole book called Bigfoot and the Dark Divide.
Huh. And it's based on what area?
I think it's Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
Volcanoes were involved,
Okay.
and so there's only one place in the world, or one place in America that is, besides
Okay.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
And there's indigenous tribes. He walks
Okay.
up. He meets local Native Americans.
Gotcha.
Champ Kind. Several good. Well, we're wrapping up. We're close to an hour 40. Probably wrap it up. But yeah, this has been fun.
Right on, brother.
I needed it before I'm stranded in my house for 3 days.
Better buy about 50 rolls of toilet paper.
Well, we shop at Costco. We've already got
15 loaves of bread. 10 gallons of milk.
Thankfully, I do have a 4-wheel drive truck.
Okay, there you go.
And if
Doesn't
I do
everybody in your area?
not all of them. Some of the people that moved here from God knows where don't. But
Are all the panels from the original truck in the same color?
oh yeah,
Okay.
it's a Toyota. We don't.
Okay.
I don't fool. Yeah, the hood's gray. The doors.
I know you don't
doors
live in
black.
Kentucky. I remember when I went to Kentucky one time, we were at the old KFC in Kentucky, ironically, and there were 4 giant monster trucks parked next to the window, and none of them had matching parts.
That's about right. Get them tore off and find another one in the junkyard.
But when shit gets real, if your car is broke down, or if you're being attacked by a pack of coyotes or Bigfoot, them are the boys you want helping you out. I mean, and they will too. They will.
Those used to be my people. I guess they kind of are still.
Yeah. That's Southern Illinois. They're good folk, man.
Whammy. That's who it is, Chris. He knew something. I was talking. Whammy. I think when this is over, we should get an apartment together. I'm just saying stuff now. All right, Joe. Everybody be sure to check out Joe's movie on Tubi.
It's on Tubi. Yeah. Grand Tower, UFOs, and other high strangeness. There's a lot of a few well-known people in the film, researchers.
Yeah.
Steve Ward, who works at the Mothman Museum. Ken Gerhard, world-renowned cryptozoologist. Zelia Edgar, who's an up-and-coming paranormal. She's a high strangeness person. She's all into that. Kevin Lee Nelson, who's a folklorist, but he's been in documentaries, and he's a researcher of the world of the weird. And then a bunch of local researchers from Missouri and Southern Illinois, eyewitnesses of this event that happened in 1973. I think people will enjoy it. It's a paranormal stew of different topics. Yeah,
I think it's one of those shows you can watch with family. It's not like Greg's documentary, just dirty and full of smut, but it's actually a family. It's actually a family show. Like have I told you when I go to bed at night, I watch either stand-up comedy or like Expedition Bigfoot or Unexplained or I've watched Downy Booger, Greg's other documentary, a lot going to bed, and I just love watching it. And this is one of those that I can fit like right in there because
awesome.
It really keeps you engaged. That's why stand-up comedy puts me to sleep because I'm listening real hard.
Yeah.
And trying to get the joke. And people say, "Why do you hate stand-up comedy?" I don't. It's my favorite genre of music. I love comedians. If I didn't have a Bigfoot podcast, my podcast would be stand-up comedy. And my next one will be.
Dude, your schlick is golden. I'm telling you. You come up with some good stuff. I swear to God, you crack me up on your shorts a lot of times.
Dude, those are off the cuff, every single one of them. 15 seconons. I go to my door over here. I go to my door over here and think of something stupid to say, and just walk and sit down and say it, and then push and look at 1,000 views. I'm like, what the actual hell?
No, I mean, like I was watching one. You had some food joke in it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? But then it goes on to the story, and I was just dying, man. It was like the funniest shit ever.
There was one I made fun of Texas barbecue that got nothing. I thought that was going to put me over the top. I said, I'm just going to insult Texas barbecue right in the face and punch it in the nose.
I appreciate you having me on though, man. And
yeah, man. I need to have you on more often. My favorite guest, I just ignore half the time. Like I tell you what it is. The guest that I have the biggest rapport with is I'm just like, I don't want to scare him away. It's like, shh, it's a deer. Don't scare it. Don't scare it. It's actually somebody that'll talk to me.
I'm hard to keep away though, man.
Yeah, we chat all the time. Like,
yeah, we do.
It's one of those things where you know somebody, like, how do I know them? Like I talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know what I wanted to, I thought of when I wanted to tell you was like, I'm trying to build up my YouTube channel. Look up Red Room Creative Media on YouTube, by the way, and subscribe.
Not Bedroom Creative Media, Red Room.
Red Room. Yes. Not bedroom, Red Room with an R.
Bedroom Creative Media is a completely other channel.
But like, I started doing these, boots on the ground, Bigfoot researching, and I showed you my first one. You're like, dude, you got something there. That's a good hook to have people like that. And all of us, I built up a couple hundred subscribers more just by doing that. And I enjoy doing it. I'm being legit with it. I'm not trying to be mockumentary or anything, but like you encouraged me to do that. And I like bouncing ideas off of you. So I really appreciate that, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, you gave me that AI template that I use now.
Yeah, that works, man. It's there are good uses for AI, believe it or not, that doesn't involve ripping people off. So yeah, I like it. I've
noticed that keeps the thing in play, keeps the video in play.
Yeah.
Instead of just like flashing a pan and then the next, like, you get views like 10 days later in a little wad of 10 or 20 views.
We're talking about Chat GPT, folks.
Yeah. But, you do like give me 200 words for this, and I want it to be directed toward people that drive Chevy trucks. Like
yeah.
40-year-old men that drive Chevy trucks.
Like a rock.
Yeah. And it'll just spit it out.
Yeah. 2 seconds. Yeah.
It's amazing.
And and you put out way more content than I do. I mean, that's a time saver for people.
I put out one a day. I'm just going to, I'll put out one a day just because I'm working on a little project right now. And so I don't have time to do videos.
Yeah.
Do my weeklies. I mean, this is going to be kind of the week, and I got one on Sunday, but
awesome.
If I don't have one, something's out there still grabbing up, the algorithm's got something to
on. Yeah. But yeah, I always appreciate your feedback, man. You're one of the few dudes that I like to bounce ideas off of, because you're although you're in the world of the weird, you're a pretty down to earth individual, and
I keep my palate cleansed.
You're not insane yet, so that's always good.
That's why I kind of don't regret not doing as much research as I thought I would, because it keeps my palate, keeps me out of the crazy. I get out in the woods, I start becoming the woods.
I'm gonna get there one day, man. I'll be like, I got the evidence everybody's been looking for. It's not a chipmunk, I swear.
I'll take it. I'll hit it with my truck. I don't want to, but if I accidentally did, I'd be like, hell yeah. But otherwise, no. Otherwise, I wouldn't shoot one.
If you hit one with your truck and kill it, remember to cut off a part of the body, because the government's going to take it.
I'm going to hide a finger.
Hide a finger.
I'm going to tuck it away. Where'd you hide that finger? You don't want to know.
Take the liver. It's going to have a lot of. It's going to have a lot of information in the liver.
It's like the hard drive of the Bigfoot.
Right.
What are you doing? What are you doing to my dog, man? Shut up. All right, I'm going to hit my theme music, and thanks everyone for watching. Check out Joe's show, Grand Tower on Tubi, and we'll see you Sunday, everyone. Peace.
I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it. I didn't believe in it. I never gave it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.